There was one situation where a guy literally almost stopped talking to me because he ended up finding out that I had alopecia, and he was like, he was pissed. He was pissed.
Tell me you wanna ride, you want me by your side. There ain't no other lover that can make you smile.
Hi. Let's get into it. This song right here, baby. This is gonna be one of them songs that I tell my kids 20 years from now. You don't know nothing about this. A hit. I'm feeling so good today. You can't touch my sweat. Stupid, I was foolish, I was lying to myself. I haven't had moisturizer in so... Yeah. Skin is prepped. I don't need nobody saying anything about my skin because I've been eating really bad lately. Just a little bumpy bump, and there's a couple over here. I've been eating too good. I needed to give myself a little energy so we can film this Q&A, so let's get into it. Hello, let me make sure this is adjusted right. Oh my God, I should have done this before I press record. So I asked y'all to ask me a few different questions on my YouTube and on my Instagram. I just made one. If you didn't know, I'll include it here. Pop through, give me a message, say, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Hello. Hello. Oh my God. The biggest, oh my God, dog. The biggest bug is like trying to get through my window. Thank God that my window is closed. Oh my God. Told y'all to ask me a few different questions for my first, this is my first Get Ready With Me, my first little sit down video. She's giving a real YouTuber, period. So I have all my questions over here. Y'all asked me some good juicy ones. A lot of y'all were asking like data and stuff, so we're gonna get into the tea. First, before we get into it, I'm gonna put my lashes on. Y'all know I do the little individual joints. If you're curious about some of the products that I'm using, every product that I use today, I'm gonna also put a link to where I got it from. I'm all done. I hate them. Let's get into these questions, shall we? Hi to my YouTube channel.
I'm so glad to see you. Good morning. Love you. Your mama.
If you think I'm a drama queen, my mother is beyond me, okay? So I'm gonna just put on my makeup. I'm actually going and meeting up with my friends in Fort Greene for this festival. I know that I kind of like just hopped on YouTube and I just started like posting. I should have done this a long time ago, but for whatever reason, I don't know, questions freak me out. And I've been making shorts for a minute. I thought about like doing intro and like telling you about myself. But you know, one thing I'm working on in therapy is trying to be more vulnerable and letting people in, because I don't. And not just like in the social media world, but like in a lot of different areas of my life. It's just really hard for me to let people in. And I don't know why that is. I really grew up by myself. Like I was a girl that liked to be alone, by myself, by my lonesome. That was me, down, okay? You see me pop through every once in a while because I'm editing this and realizing I sound nuts. I'm gonna give myself grace because this is my first sit down video, but I sound nuts. Like I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. I didn't grow up by myself. I grew up to myself. Does that make sense? I like to be alone because of my alopecia. I didn't want to be talked about, so I just stayed siloed on my own in my room. I just didn't want it to come across that I grew up in this world by myself. I have a sister. I have a family. I have friends. I just like to be by myself. I'll be back because a lot isn't making sense as I'm editing this. I don't know, it's just a real big struggle for me to be like vulnerable. That's not my bag at all. Do my brows, I'm using Anastasia Beverly Hills, the brown dip brow pomade. My therapist was like telling me, well, sometimes you're not even vulnerable with me. Like I've been going to therapy for like 2 years now, and she's like, you've never even cried in therapy before. And I'm like, for what? That's my girl. Like I love her down. I love her down. So this is a challenge for me, but I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into the questions. So I'm going in with my Tarte concealer, and I'm just going to spot correct a bit. I'm not doing a hardcore makeup look at all. Like I'm going to the park, girl. I'm going to the party. Keep it cute and cash. A lot of questions, just basically like, who am I almost? Like my age, where am I from, all of that. So I am 31. I am from Detroit, Michigan, babes. I live in Detroit. I'm from Detroit. Like I grew up and born and raised in Detroit, but most of my time was spent in Southfield. That is where all of my family is. Right now I live in Brooklyn, and I've been living in New York for probably about 6 years. I actually never, ever wanted to move here. Literally never, ever wanted to move here. Like, this was my least favorite place. I did an internship here like back in college, and I hated my experience here when I did the internship, and I was like, oh no, babes, I'm never doing this ever again, babes, never. I work in sales, and I just kind of got fed up with the types of jobs I was getting. I think that like when you live in Michigan, like you're either gonna work in automotive or Quicken Loans. And I just didn't see the vision, you know what I mean? And I didn't see the money, and I needed money. And so I just started applying for jobs and quit my job randomly. Like if you know me, when it come to work, baby, I'ma quit. I quit my job without like giving a notice or anything. I literally just walked in my boss's office one day and I was like, okay, I'm done. I literally just told her, I actually am so depressed being here. I cannot do this anymore. I made up a lie on the spot. I was like, oh, I'm moving to New York. What? I don't even know where that came from, but I was like, oh, I'm moving to New York with no intentions, no job. Like I hadn't started applying for jobs at all. But I was like, oh, no. I'm moving to New York. I got another opportunity, so I'm out, babes. I was so annoyed about where I was in my life. I think I might have been like 24, something like that. And I just wanted so much more for myself. Really just could not get into being in Detroit anymore. Not even just in Detroit anymore, just the job that I was having. So I quit my job. I ended up moving in with my mother for probably like a few months, and I started applying for jobs, and I got an offer in Dallas, Texas, and I got an offer in New York, and the offer in New York was a lot less than what Dallas was. New York wasn't paying for relocation fees, like they weren't paying for like literally anything. I had to pay my way to get there, and I wasn't getting paid nothing. I ended up choosing New York over Dallas because I'm very like churchy and I like prayed about it, and like I went to church, and it just felt like it was a calling for me to go to New York, and I ended up going. Yeah, so I ended up deciding to move to New York, and when I moved to New York, it just was up from there. Like I don't believe in staying at jobs, if you know me. When it comes to like work, like professional work, I genuinely, especially when you earlier on in your career, I do not believe in staying at jobs for longer than a couple years. I literally have not stayed at a job for longer than 2 years, ever. I'm very proud of like my career and like my trajectory. Although I don't like working, I am proud of like the accomplishments that I've made. I ended up moving to New York, and I haven't looked back yet. Now I'm at a point where I might be leaving New York next year. I will be leaving New York next year, and I'll keep y'all posted in my little vloggy vlogs on like what I'm doing, because I'm not gonna be here, and I'm not gonna be at the same job either, so we gotta move on. Your dating experience while having alopecia. How long do you wait until you tell guys that you have alopecia? So I'm using House Labs. Love. Oh, baby. Love her down. So I got a lot of questions like as it relates to like dating, how I go about telling people. I'll be honest, I used to didn't. I'm like not in my dating era right now. Last year I was more in my dating era, like I was dating a lot. You know, I'm just not. I need peace. I need to be able to like focus on this type of stuff and like things that bring me joy, as opposed to things that like distract me. And right now for me, men are a huge distraction and not an addition to my life. You know what I mean? I used to not tell people at all. I was very embarrassed of it. Like I was embarrassed of it, not just from a relationship perspective, but I was also embarrassed from friendship, whatever people that I work with and co-workers and all of that. I was very embarrassed. I did not want anybody to know my business like at all. Like I was not into that. Partially still the same. I think that now I've gotten to the point of telling people without telling them. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, the way that I tell people is by letting them follow me on Instagram. Because I feel like it's kind of weird to just bring it up in a conversation like, hey.
It's nice to meet you. I just wanted to let you know that I'm bald.
Like, it doesn't come up in conversation. It's not a question that people ask. Like, is that your hair? Like, first of all, don't ask me, is that your hair? Like, don't do, not too much. My wig is on, it's grown out the scalp, okay? I'm using Fenty bronzer for my bronzer. I think I told one guy that I was talking to like a couple years ago. I didn't tell them, I just let them follow me on Instagram. And like on my Instagram, I have pictures of me being bald. And I told him, and I gave him my Instagram because I usually, like, when I'm talking to guys, like, I usually do not give out my stuff. Like, it takes a while for me to, like I said earlier on, I'm very, like, it's very hard for me to be vulnerable. You know what I mean? I think I'm describing myself here right, but I do want to clarify that I'm not hiding my Instagram for the world. I'm hiding the world for my Instagram. Not the Drake part. No, but for real, I don't not give out my Instagram because I don't want people to know that I have alopecia. Like, it's genuinely, I'm not hiding that I have alopecia. It's more that, like, this is the most vulnerable part of who I am. Like, for me, this is like a me, myself, and I thing. And for me to let you in, a man, be serious, because they so temporary, babes. They're so temporary. I'm not giving you a piece of me. No, thanks. At least not yet. You gotta prove yourself worthy of information. I can't give it all to you. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So you getting access to me in that way just feels like a lot. I ended up like just sending him my Instagram page and he saw it and he immediately like commented on it without commenting on it. Like he was just like, oh, just wanna like, you know, like you're so beautiful. Like, you know, when guys trying to bag, you feel what I'm saying? Like he like commented on it without commenting on it. Like gave me just like a bunch of compliments for like this version of myself that he hadn't seen before. And so, you know, him saying that, I think that like I might have had like a conversation with him and like told him, you know, my experience, and that just kind of let down my guard a little bit more. And there was like, at that point, it was just him like, listen, you know, sort of reassuring me that like, oh, you're still beautiful and da-da-da-da, like all the usual. Girl, there was one situation where a guy literally almost stopped talking to me because he ended up finding out that I had alopecia. And he was like, he was pissed. He was pissed. First of all, I'm really giving y'all the tea. I wasn't even like talking to him like that. Like I did not like him like that. Like, you know, I was really using him. Oh my God. You know, when it was time to go out and I needed like drinks when it was time to go out, or like, you know, free dinner, like da-da-da-da, like all of that. And I knew I did not like him like that at all. And I think that he wanted more of me. He definitely wanted more of me. And he legitimately called me one day. Like we would just sit on FaceTime like every once in a while. And he called me one day and he was like, oh, you just not honest, da-da-da-da. Like I was getting like a lot of pressure and I'm like, what is wrong with you today? Like, are you good, bro? I died laughing when this happened. He ended up finding my Instagram. Like he was stalking me because like I said, I do not give out my Instagram at all. Like that is my personal, like me letting you into my life from a relationship aspect, that's my you know, I have to like be able to get you there. And so he was like, oh yeah, you not honest with me, like you don't feel comfortable talking to me or something, like am I not good enough for you to like feel comfortable with talking to me or something? And I was like, what the hell, what are you talking about, bro? And I like had no idea what he was talking about, and he ended up saying like, why didn't you tell me that you had alopecia? Bro, am I a mean girl? What am I laughing? And I'm still cracking up. Still funny. I'm weak. I was like, what are you talking about, bro? Oh, why did you tell me that you had alopecia? Like, you feel like you can't talk to me? Like, you feel like you can't talk to me? Da 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 da. I ended up finding your Instagram. Like, you know, I saw that you didn't have hair, like, and I was looking and you got alopecia, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, you don't want, like, he was just mad that I just didn't open you up to that world, and he wanted to be in that world, and I just was not allowing it, you know? Last thing, I don't want anybody to feel bad for this man because I did end up finding out that he was married. He's blocked. Okay, goodbye. I got a lot of questions about, like, how guys take it. They take it very well. Like, they view me similar to, like, if you look down my comments on my shorts and stuff and like see how people often say like, oh, you're so inspirational, so strong, like da 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 da. Like, it's usually that opinion. That's how he felt. Like, he wanted to be in on, you know, everything with me, and I didn't want him to be. I remember calling my friends after that like, who told him my Instagram page? Because he was friends with another group of my friends. And I was like, I am pissed, bro. I'm pissed. Like, I was really annoyed that he knew that about me and I didn't want him to know that about me. Pissed me off. But I will say that, like, from a dating perspective overall, like, I used to be really embarrassed of it. Internally, I felt like if a guy knows that I'm bald, like, that will make me not wanted by them. You know what I mean? Like, this is not the ideal beauty standard that you would imagine that a guy wants. You know what I mean? Especially like when I was younger, I never wanted to tell guys that at all, because I was like, oh, if a guy likes me, like, you know, I can enjoy that. But if he finds out that I have a bald head, like, he's not gonna like me anymore. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, like, I'm finally getting to the point in this age where I feel attractive without a wig, because it was hard, because like, I literally just did not feel attractive without hair. Like, I didn't like myself. Like, when I was younger, like I said, I'll get into a deeper story on my story about that. But like, when I was younger, I legitimately used to look in the mirror and be like, try to accept the fact that like, I was not nice looking. I called myself ugly. Like, I just tried to like deal with the fact that like, I am not an attractive person. I'm not as cute as my friends. I am not like cute as the girl that I see on Facebook or on Instagram or on Twitter or like whatever. Like, you know, I am, you know, reckoning with the fact that like, this piece of myself is ugly. And like, I did not like to let people see me without my wig on. Like, I would legitimately hide from people. Like, when the delivery driver, like a DoorDash driver, would come to the door, they would give me my food, I would throw my wig on before I would open up the door. Like, if my friends would come over, like, none of my friends, I would not let anybody. This was just during a time when like, I just was not letting anybody know that I had it, because I literally just thought that like, I don't know, it would just make me be seen as less than. I do tell them in my own way, which is send it over my Instagram page, which is has enough information for you to gather that like, I don't have hair, and for you to like ask a follow-up question to that, because at the end of the day, you the man, you're interested in me, and if you're interested in me, you should be curious, and you should have enough balls to be able to ask me the questions that, you know, concern you. A lot of questions, and like, I'm almost done with my makeup and I gotta go. So maybe I'll film a part 2. As somebody asked, how do you cope with depression and anxiety? I think it's based off of the video that I made. I didn't really speak a lot about this in this video, but therapy, and therapy. I started going to therapy 2 years ago. The best experience of my life. Like, I literally, money well spent. Tried those little virtual therapy, because I think maybe y'all hear about like BetterHelp. I ended up doing Talkspace first, because I hear their ads all the time on the read, and I hated it. Like, I didn't like my therapist, but she did call me out for something one time, and I was like, what you doing, girl? And I just was not open to that information. So I will say, like, I know everybody pushes therapy like a lot. I will say I only really recommend therapy to people that are wanting to do the work. Don't be going to therapy if you are not interested in doing the work, because you're going to be wasting your money, and it just wouldn't be an experience that essentially that you're ready for at this point in your life. You're ready for the work, and if you want to like heal yourself and get yourself to a place where you're not like sad or like anxiety or like whatever, do it. So I think that like that has been very helpful for me. I think that understanding me has also been helpful for me too. I think that for so long I just didn't understand myself. I didn't, you know, find time to like get to know me. And that's where like, I know I talked a lot about in that video about like taking myself out on a date and all of that. I really didn't start to really get to know me until I started really doing that. Like, until I started like spending time with myself. Because there's a difference in spending time with yourself and just watching TV or watching a bunch of TikToks and like, you know, just scrolling. But there's a difference between doing that and actually doing something, or like journaling, or like, you know, just spending quiet time with yourself. Really getting to know yourself is really key. If y'all want to hear me ramble about that, but like, I have been like very like thoughts and like ideations and attempts and all of that have happened in my life. And, you know, I'm very proud of the work that I've done and where I am now, and, you know, being happy to be alive and like wanting to be alive, because that's not something that has felt super familiar for me for most of my life. You know, this is the first time really in my life. God damn. This is the first time really in my life that I have really felt like I am excited about my future. I'm excited about life. I'm excited about, you know, the people that are in my life. I've never really felt that. Shout out to the work that I've been doing. Oh my God, y'all, we've been spending so much time on these like 2-3 questions. Okay, I'm gonna just start rolling through a few of them. Then I'll put my wig on and we're gonna come back and say goodbye. But I'm gonna roll through a couple of them. Where are you originally from? I told y'all that. When did I start making these? I was just like making them in my IG stories. Like for years I had been making wigs, and I used to make them in my IG stories all of the time. And like, yeah, I would get the same questions that I get on my TikToks all the time. Like, how do you do this? Da, 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 da. And this is just what like my close group of people that I know. And I would like I started to do my nails during the pandemic. I started to like, you know, do all of that. And I got on shorts and TikToks. I started to do that a while ago, and it wasn't like beauty related content at all. I did the 75 hard challenge, and like my first video blew up randomly. And so it was a lot of like fitness related content, and you know, me just doing that challenge. And after that, like I just fell off. I was like, not interested in doing that. And I started to come back, and I just, you know, like I said, I was doing the maintenance videos in my stories, and I decided to like one day make a video of me doing the maintenance days as opposed to just putting in my IG stories, and it popped off. You know, I've always wanted a YouTube channel. Like I've always wanted that. I used to have one with my friend a while ago. We did one, it was called Sincerely She. It was with my best friend, and we would interview women that we knew. Oh my God, my light just turned off. We would interview people on our old YouTube channel, like women, like their different experiences, all of that. It was a good time. And then I made my own YouTube channel like a while after that, and it was just like vegan food videos. Somebody also asked me how long have I been vegan. I've been vegan I haven't had meat since I was living in Detroit, really. Like 8 years since I haven't had meat. And then I like randomly saw an animal cruelty video, and I was like, ew, this is disgusting. And I stopped eating meat, and then I became vegetarian, and then I became vegan when I moved to New York because there was just more options. I'm actually starting to get out of that. Like I've been adding eggs into my diet a little bit because I'm doing something next year, and I'm also doing a lot of travel at the end of the year. So I think that like going into all these different countries, it's a lot more difficult and painful to experience the culture and also have a plant-based diet. And so I am starting to incorporate that into my diet again until further notice. A lot of questions in terms of like me going out bald and how do I go out bald confident, like all of that. I do not go out bald like that at all. Y'all think that I do, and I really do not. Like, I do not go out bald at all like that. The best way to do that is to do it when you like got a trip or you about to go out of town. I'm out of town, think about my rounds. I usually go bald out in public when I'm out of town. Like my birthday, I did a solo birthday trip. I was bald the entire time on that trip for the most part, except for like one night. Because for me, it's like, I don't know none of these people, and I know nobody knows me here. And it's like, I can go out bald, like I don't care. Or it feels a little icky to do it in an area where you like feel like, oh, maybe, what if I run into this person? What if I run into somebody I know? What if I personally get in my own head. I get in my own way with them. So trying it out that way, and granted, there has been a lot of moments where I've gone bald in New York. I haven't like gone out, that's a lie. No, I haven't gone out in New York. I went out in Atlanta, had the best time of my life in ghetto ass Atlanta. I love Atlanta so much. I went to Atlanta one time and literally cannot like wipe it from my memory. I had the best time in Atlanta, but I was bald when I went out with my friend, and we stayed out until late AF. in the booth, you know, just having my good time, you know. One thing that I try to keep in my mind is that you just cannot control people's perception of you, period. And you have to focus on doing things that make you happy and like what makes you feel the most comfortable. And I want to feel really comfortable going out bald like this. Today I'm putting on my wig, but I want to feel comfortable going out bald. I want to feel comfortable like being in my own skin and going out how I feel like going out. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, some outfits look better with a bald head. I'm sorry. Outfits just eat down with a bald head, okay? And I wanna get to a point where I feel like if this outfit look good with a bald head, because mind you, I love my wigs. But I know I get a lot of comments about like, oh, she wears wigs, you should stop wearing the wigs. I like wearing wigs. I eat, okay? I make a good wig. Take your time. And if you do it, do it. Who cares? Nobody really cares. For real, for real. Nobody really, really cares. And honestly, I will say I probably get the most compliments without my wig. I get it genuinely. I'm not joking. I probably get a lot. I get a lot of compliments when my wigs are fresh and new and they look really good. Like blonde hair, I get a lot of compliments, but there are no compliments greater than the compliments that I get when I wear bald hair. That wraps up my get ready with me. I'm about to put on my clothes and get ready to walk out the door. Is that like one of the other questions that I got a lot was like, how are you so confident? And for me, I think that like a lot of people are just genuinely just have that confidence in them. But for me, I really had to work off for mine, and I really had to just like figure it out and like become confident with myself, and that meant like doing a lot of self-work, actually liking myself, you know, because the times when I was the least confident, I can look back and say that I genuinely just did not, like I didn't F with myself in the level that I would expect other people to as well. You can fake confidence, and I have, of course, but I really feel like I am at this point where like when people say it to me, I don't not believe it, because I know that I feel like I am. I know that like I try and I work really hard to like accept myself, not create a different version of myself, not like work on myself or do something new and, you know, try to become this new elevated version of myself, which I'm always working on. But like, how do I, once I got to the point where like I accept myself for who I am in this current moment, that is where the confidence sort of kicked in for me. So it's about loving yourself and giving yourself the time in and giving yourself the love and the work and the effort that it takes to get to that level of confidence that you want to be at. So, you know, that's all I gotta say on that. I hope this was fun. This was cute. I appreciate all the questions. Thank you to everybody that shared some. If you have any more, maybe we can film a part 2, you know, or if there are any other questions that might come up, let me know. All right, y'all, I'm about to go have fun in Fort Greene, but I will see you guys next week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you later. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, but that's all on you. You grown, boo. I ain't gonna stop you from doing whatever you want to do, but it will be appreciated. All right. All right. Bye, guys. Love you.